Hello, everybody. Josh Brown here, back for another great episode on Franchise Euphoria. Well, today's episode is brought to you by IndieFranchiseLaw.com, a leading resource in the franchise space to help you if you're considering buying a franchise, turning your business into a franchise, or growing your business through a licensing or franchise structure. So go on, check it out, IndieFranchiseLaw.com. I think you'll find a lot of valuable and free information as you continue to kind of weigh franchising and licensing and the growth of your business. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy today's episode. Today, I'm thrilled to have on Vince Ortiz. Vince is the Director of Franchise Development for a franchise company named Transblue. Vince has over 20 years experience of managing businesses within the construction and facility industries, and Transblue franchise is a franchise that is focused on construction management and general contracting. They've developed a first of its kind franchise business model set out to offer both general contracting and commercial project management through streamlined outsourced labor and technology-driven approach. Vince brings a whole variety of experience and history to the show today. He's got 20 years of experience of managing these type of businesses, including his own franchise and being actively involved in the franchise industry for 10 years. Really enjoyed this conversation with Vince and hope you do as well. Hello, Vince. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria. How you doing?
I'm good, Josh. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about the Transblue franchise system. I must admit, when somebody from your team reached out about coming on the show, I had not heard of that system, and I'm always intrigued by that. I mean, I've been in the franchise industry for a long time now, so I'm always intrigued by systems I'm not that familiar with. But you are the Director of Franchise Development. And before we dive into the specific system, take a second to tell the audience about who you are and what kind of experiences you have leading up to becoming Director of Franchise Development.
Sounds good, Josh. I come from I started in the corporate world. I was in a Fortune 500 company for about 20 years. It started small when I first joined it while I was still in college, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of a company that really grew nationally. So I learned a lot about business, the different aspects of the business, running the business, the financials. I was responsible for our locations west of the Mississippi when I moved on from my company, and it planted a seed because at the time I wanted to become a business owner. I run my own business. And so what I did at that point is I went ahead and bought into a franchise system. So I became a franchisee in 2006 and grew the business for almost just under 8 years. And I learned a lot, and I love everything to do with the franchise industry, the business startups and the opportunities it gives folks to be a potential business owner. And I also started another independent business as well towards the end. So I have that desire to be a business owner. I have that in my blood, if you will. It's in my DNA.
What franchise system did you buy into?
PureClean. Have you heard of PureClean?
Yes, I have actually. Okay.
Yeah. So really involved in the water, fire, mold mitigation, restoration. We did a lot of trauma as well for my franchise. We're pretty active we were in the Seattle area.
Now, did you sell that franchise?
I did. I had a business partner I sold it to, and I focused more on my consultation business, my independent business at that point.
Okay. And then what brought you to the Transblue franchise system?
Well, being in restoration, you work with a lot of different contractors through potential remodels, or they bring you in for what kind of work we were focused on. And I ended up meeting Dave Westcott, our CEO at the time, and we built up a relationship, and he was building a business, and it was transitioning. I thought we would make great partners, and we had a great relationship, and I joined the team, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Well, it's funny. When I first heard of the Transblue franchise, so the first thing I thought of was an airline. So I don't know why. I don't know if you've heard that before, but for those who don't know, what is the Transblue franchise? What do you guys do?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because a lot of questions about our name, and how we came about that and why that is. So I get that from time to time. So it's a topic of conversation. But we're a franchise company that operates in the $1 trillion construction industry. But in essence, what we focus on is general contracting. The difference being that we focus on niche services on both the residential and commercial side. But what really truly makes us operationally different is that we only outsource the work. We manage the projects. Meaning there's virtually no equipment. materials inventory and overhead. And as you work through the financials, what that means is higher net profits.
When you say into the general contracting, into the niche, talk a little bit about the specific niches that you guys, what are some of the services that you would provide both on the residential and the commercial side?
We primarily focus on the exterior side of a residential projects. That being, have you seen those outdoor kitchens and outdoor living spaces that are becoming more and more popular?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's the outdoor kitchens, it's your decks, it's your fencing, a lot of fire pits. People want to hang out outdoors more than ever, and concrete, synthetic turf. So what we do is we focus on being a one point of contact. Really, that's our value proposition to our clients on the residential side, including the commercial side. It's where we focus our marketing campaigns, for example, to be in the right area with the right people, the right places that are looking to upgrade their exterior outdoor environment. So a lot of even eco-friendly type of projects that we focus on as well. So on the commercial side, our background in history, having been facility management company nationwide, we have a good knowledge and experience on the commercial side, and we focus on government projects, multifamily projects, and retailers' needs that they have on their exterior for their image and so forth, where it needs to be. So we focus on a lot of projects there as well.
Well, so how did the founder come up with the idea to franchise in this space? I mean, I think there are certainly a couple others who have franchised in this space, and there are a lot of residential, commercial type companies that provide services, maybe not exactly what you provide, but have gone to the franchise space. But what led to the founder deciding to franchise?
Yeah, and all that we are now, Josh, it's built into the DNA of our business. Because we started off as a self-perform business. Dave, our founder, literally started off with a truck and a lawnmower when he was young, and this is in 2004. And in a few years, built it up in the Seattle area as a large general contracting business, focused on recurring landscape maintenance work for his clients, residential and commercial. But grew it to the 30 trucks plus mechanics to go with it, as well as the large payroll that he had to have for that. We started working for those facility management companies that were awarding us work through, like a Walmart, for instance, for example, or Bank of America, to perform the services on behalf of their client. And in 2009, we converted to that. It was an opportunity to transition and eliminate a lot of that overhead, eliminate all of those expenses, and operate as a management company for our clients. And so from 2009 on up to about 2017, we were working for the Walmarts, Bank of America, as well as Fargo's, Starbucks, those kind of clients on exterior services. And that included also some government multifamily type projects as well. But what that did is that our goal was to have 50 plus sites for any one of those clients for on average about 2 to 3 years of a contract that was awarded to us. What really happened there in our business is that at our high point, we had about 7,000 different vendor partners, in our network. And we managed that from Seattle, Washington, and throughout the whole country. So we really became outsource experts, subcontracting that work out for those locations that we have with our clients.
Well, and do you, on the technology side, oftentimes in franchising, that's a huge benefit for the franchisee. And I just got to think with a company like yours, and especially on the residential, but also on the commercial side of things, as people are going out and speaking with homeowners or with commercial businesses and so forth, what kind of things do you guys have? Are you providing on the technology side to assist the franchisees to make their jobs day in and day out a little bit more seamless, because obviously that's a huge part of any kind of franchise structure.
Yeah, no doubt. And it was important for us to what we look to do is separate ourselves in this industry. I mean, we've all had experiences, either good or bad, and quite frankly, in this industry, there's a lot of bad. And so what we look to do is separate ourselves. And quite frankly, it's an older industry when it comes to technology. So it was important for us from the very beginning. I call it the laboratories. We had a corporate location that was our laboratory for bringing in different systems, trying new technology to ultimately be able to launch with, all the things that we could have in place for our franchisees. And so technology was a big part of it. As a matter of fact, one of our directors, our director of IT and marketing, Jim Westcott, is formerly from Microsoft, helped launch the Office 365 platform. And what that's done for us is really integrate the technology, make it a streamlined process because, quite frankly, majority of all our franchisees are not from this industry. And we're not looking really for folks that maybe have been contractors in the past because it's more of a management business, overseeing the outsourcing aspect and project management side of it. But we from everything from the designing, and it's really it's not a complicated design process. But when you're talking to residential clients, you're looking to ask those questions, bring out the vision of what they want. A lot of times it's pictures, and so it's up to us to really kind of help them design that using our technology. And then once we have that concept in place, we build the estimate from our estimating software. And what's really key there is having the right material costs and labor costs for your market. In other words, here in Seattle may be different, and it is different from here to Dallas, for example, or someplace on the East Coast. But we have that all integrated into our estimating software system so that it again, simplifies the process and streamlines it. And then what we do is we have what we call a bid scrub process where us as a franchise, or what we'll do is we'll work with our franchisees to help them on and guide them through that estimate and with our experience and background, be able to just advising them on what maybe they're looking at or maybe something they're missing. So that way, when they submit that estimate that to their client, there's that confidence that they have the right numbers in there for their not only sales but the gross profit side of it.
Well, and what type of franchisee, owner, operator are you looking for this franchise? I mean, it seems to me like it's a non-retail model, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And are you looking for somebody who has experience and background and who is a general contractor, or are you looking for somebody who comes in and then brings on as an employee or hires on a general contractor to kind of help run the day-to-day business?
Yeah, no, that's correct, Josh. We aren't looking necessarily for general contractors. What's important for us is that we look for business leaders, folks that, depending on what level they want to be involved in the business, our roles that we have for our model is one of sales consultant, running the appointments. We have another role that is about being a project manager, managing the projects, but also building those relationships with those contractors in the local space. An administrator, somebody in the back office that can handle the admin side of it, and as you continue to grow. And that at full maturity, depending on what the owner wants to do, it's about 3 to 4 people, that make the team. What we're looking for from a franchise owner is somebody that has that business leadership experience and wants to build a business. Because again, you're not going to be out there, pushing the wheelbarrow or shoveling dirt. And for that matter, you're not hauling material to the job site with your truck. So, it's a process of going back to that the facility management company that we had, where we manage those processes from start to completion of a project.
Well, and so are you, with regard to the franchise, you guys started primarily on the West Coast?
We are. Our corporate offices are in Seattle, Washington.
Do you have locations outside of the Washington area?
We do. Currently, we're 5 franchisees in. We launched in January 2019.
So relatively new. That's great.
Yeah, no, it was exciting. It's an exciting transformation. But yeah, we launched January 2019, and we have 5 franchises in place. We have one going through virtual training right now with all that's going on, obviously. And we have another franchisee starting in May if it continues to line up that way.
So how has this transition been to the franchise process? Because I imagine there's people who are listening who are contemplating turning their businesses into a franchise at some point. Obviously, we're in the midst of COVID-19, so we'll see how that shapes out. But what was that process like for you? And I guess, I know it's very much an involved process, but now having gone through that process, been out of it for a little bit, and now in the midst of trying to go and expand and grow, what's maybe a piece of advice you would give to somebody who's looking right now and contemplating whether or not to convert their model into a franchise model?
Well, Josh, that's a great question, because it was important for us not going from a business like we had or any other business for that matter, and then transition into a franchisor. I'd say it takes a lot of homework up front. We had the benefit of having our other business finance this, and we had the same team in place that we do now for the most part. And we were able to have a side business, if you will, run our laboratory franchise system from corporate headquarters, me and a different team. And also what we did is we brought on a consulting company and worked with them for about a year, lining up our manuals, lining up the processes that you need to have in place, helping us with that direction, because franchising was new to us, quite frankly, except for those of us that have that experience of having been a franchisee. So we did a lot of setting up the platform and putting the time and not rushing the process. I guess that would be the one thing that I would recommend, as well as always have that mindset of you want your franchisees to succeed. That goes without saying, but it's a tough thing to do when you're launching. And we have our goals set in place. We're not about selling franchise. We're about awarding a franchise and making sure the right folks are in place to succeed with our system. Easier said than done, but I think it goes a long ways if you put that time and energy and investment up front before you launch.
Yeah, it's never easy. I can tell you that. So, but it can be worthwhile if you stick with it and continue to add value to each and every location. Thank you for coming on today, Vince. If anybody wants to learn more about the Transblue franchise system, you can go to transbluefranchise.com. You can also find them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching for Transblue. Was there anything else that you wanted to provide or anything else you want to include before we end the interview?
No, just other than thanks for having me, Josh. I really appreciate it and look forward to maybe talking down the road.
Sounds great. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Franchise Euphoria. If you enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could go to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. It really helps to get this podcast out to more and more people. So the easy way to do it is go to iTunes and in the search box, put in Franchise Euphoria. You will then see my cover art and you click on my smiling face that says Franchise Euphoria and then click on the link that says ratings and reviews. It's that simple, but boy, oh boy, does it mean the world to me when people leave ratings and reviews. And like I said, it really helps get the show out there. Once again, would love it if you would go to iTunes and leave a rating and review if you enjoyed this episode or other episodes of the show. And until the next time, happy franchising.